All right, I don't know what I just watched. When I say what I just watched, I realize you're going to be hearing this podcast this evening. But this afternoon, as I'm recording it, holy shit, I decided to watch the entire abortion that was the Trump inaugural. OMFG. I don't know how to begin. I honestly don't. I wish I had something just witty to say, but I don't. What a tragedy. What a tragedy that this filthy son of a bitch is back in office. Yeah, it's the 20th of January, 2025. Hi, thank you. I'm Mike Malloy. First of all, thank you to Roxanne Kincaid and Tara Devlin for filling in for me while I was in Los Angeles. One of the things at the beginning of this bastard's inaugural speech that was really offensive to me was the way he denigrated or belittled the thousands of people who are fighting these fires in the LA area. I was there. I was not on the fire line, no. I was in Los Angeles and then further south into Orange County. Molly and I were in the Hollywood Hills. We were as close as we wanted to get. And the smoke, I don't know how to put it, the film on local television, the video recording of what was going on in these 4 fire areas was just unlike anything I've ever seen, except videos from areas that have been severely bombed. I hate to use the tired simile of a war zone, but that's exactly what it looked like. And the suffering of the people out there is just unspeakable. All of a sudden, there are 10, 20,000 people who are now homeless, who need to just rent a place to live. Until when? Who knows? And the housing market in LA, if you know anything about it, is very restricted. By restricted, I mean there just aren't that many units available. But to hear Trump talk the way he did, the denigrating, belittling way he did, and trying to blame the Biden administration for not responding, I would hope that the firefighters and the volunteers from 3 countries, Mexico, Canada, the United States, I don't know, maybe more, and from 8 or 9 states in the union, when they heard what this filthy son of a bitch said about the firefighters, I hope they respond. I hope they tell him what a fuckwad he really is. It's just astonishing. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Thanks to the 2 women who substituted for me while I was gone. I appreciate it very much. It was personal business, had to do with the death of my brother. So a combination of what, and Molly went with me in order to, a couple of things, really, to bear witness to what was going on, but also to help me through difficult areas of taking care of what I had to take care of. And this morning, put her on a plane back to school from here in Atlanta. So the combination of why I made the trip and realizing when I got back to Atlanta what I was going to experience this morning, which I did, was just a very powerful 1-2 punch. I know you have been through similar situations yourself. I'm sure you have. And by the way, before I get lost in what I want to say, I want to mention my sponsor tonight. And dear God, my sponsor is Michael Bird. Michael Bird. And he quotes, since today is Martin Luther King Day, he has a quote from Dr. King. It is this. This is Michael's message. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. End quote. Michael, thank you. I wish I were on the spiritual level, or even 1,000th of the spiritual level of Dr. King, so I could feel that way about Trump. And I can't. To me, Trump is a dark monster. There is no light around him. And when I listen to those three religious figures at the end, especially the black guy, Jesus Christ, why didn't you just stand up there and say, all right, folks, I'm going to do my benediction now, and I'm going to rip the words right out of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s mouth. And the rabbi, the Jewish guy, what a fuckwad he was. Who are these people? And Franklin Graham, that walking disaster, who had the nerve to say to the people in attendance and to the people who have to put up with this son of a bitch for the next 4 years, unless something untoward happens to him, that God protected Trump. This is according to Franklin Graham, this hate-filled son of a bitch, Franklin Graham. That God protected Donald Trump so that Donald Trump could now come and lead us out of the horror that Joe Biden put us in when Joe Biden stole the election in 2020, right? These people. And Billionaires Row. Did you see? First of all, the whole goddamn thing that I saw looked like a meeting of the NAAWP, National Association of White People. Remember that from when was that? When did that piece of shit start? Back in the 80s or 90s? National Association for the Advancement of White People. Oh, that was so cute, wasn't it? But seriously, if you watch the video, especially when the camera panned out over these sorry son of a bitches who had gathered to hear this walking vomit talk, where were black folk? Where were people? This is a rhetorical question. I know where they were. They stayed the fuck away. Or they tried to get in and couldn't. Trump doesn't want that. The optics. White people? Fine. Black people? Brown people? Get out of town. I don't want the... But that sea of white faces and the constant references to God, that God did this. God protected Donald Trump. Donald Jesus Christ, Lord Trump. What a sickening display this was. I'm sorry. I just have to vent just for a moment. And you folks, you can either listen to shit or not. But if you're listening, I guess you have to be in this vent flow with me, right? Oh, my God. And when he said that his inauguration is now the start of a thrilling new era of national success, as he was surrounded by these goddamn billionaires who were just licking their chops and rubbing their hands, waiting for Trump to really begin the money bath for these son of a bitches. You know it's going to happen. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Jesus Christ. There they all sat. Just oh my God. Well, and Linda McMahon, the wrestle lady, the new secretary, she hasn't been confirmed yet, Secretary of Education. Are you kidding me? And what's his name? The guy that runs Apple now. Damn it, I can never think of his name. He contributed $1 million. Oh, Tim Cook, that's right. Sam Altman, the head of OpenAI, which is going to devour the human species. Sam Altman, he contributed $1 million to the inaugural fund, to the dance tonight, where all these white devils are going to sashay their asses around, trying to impress each other with their jewelry and their whiteness. And, oh, God. Well. Maurice Mitchell, who is the national director of the Working Families Party, right? Working Families, the Working Families Party. He said in a statement characterizing the attendees who were sitting to Trump's right. As you look at the TV, they were over his on the left, but to Trump's right, these and I've got to comment on Elon Musk. The fucking guy looks like a 14-year-old who can't control himself, like he's got some kind of a I don't know, a inability to keep his arms down and his mouth shut. And this goofy look on his face. I mean, the guy has $500 billion already. And he has to bounce on his seat and wave his arms like, hey, yeah, we're here. Wouldn't you think that he would spend some of his billions to, I don't know, have some kind of a neurosurgeon get to work on him and control this shit? But I watched him a couple of times. The camera went to him a couple of times when he was just, I don't know how else to put it, bouncing and dancing and on his ass, of course, waving his arms around, grinning to the people on his left, grinning to the people on his right. What the fuck? Back to Maurice Mitchell. He's the one who came up with the phrase, billionaires row, squatting on their asses behind Trump. But this is what he said, quote, the billionaires in attendance today have one goal, to get even richer. By gutting our health care, our public education, Social Security, we're going to expose their grift and bring new people with us along the way until working people are the ones with the power, not the billionaire bosses. And Mitchell added this, quote, lobbyists and corporations have donated over $200 million to today's inauguration of Donald Trump, which is, in fact, a small price to pay for buying off history's most corrupt grifter-in-chief. We just installed a convicted rapist, a convicted liar, cheat, grifter, and when he put his hand on, I don't know what the fuck he put his hand on, his old lady came up and shoved some book under his hand. And he took the oath about to protect and defend the Constitution. I almost choked on my oatmeal. What the? Protect? Oh, God. And that grinning moron, John Roberts, who administered the oath, I don't understand why a bolt of lightning didn't flash out of this Christian bullshit heaven they've all constructed and just strike John Roberts, incapable of finishing up his little oath to Donald Trump. When Roberts talked about defending the Constitution against enemies for domestic, bullshit. It was a Roberts court that said to Trump, hey, dude, you can do any fucking thing you want to do, as long as you're president. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.